Alright, howdy everyone. This is Dungeon Defenders. This is my leveling guide. This is based on a few years of kind of trial and error, reading lots of forums, and in general, figuring out what works, and more specifically, what works with only one character. Now, as you can see here, I'm on, but you could do this on Apprentice. You could probably do it on Squire. I've never made a Squire. I don't know. You can do it on Huntress, Monk, Summoner, and Series EV. I don't know about Barbarian and Jester. Yeah, that's kind of up to you if you want to do it. But almost every character can do this and follow this guide to level 74 and be fully geared in Mythics. From there, it gets a lot trickier, and I'm not going to go into that in a video. Well, in this video, I could make another one, but yeah, so, where do you start? As you can see here, I'm on a fairly low-level character, and I'm going to be kind of walking you through a bunch of the early game stuff, doing a run of something, and then walking you guys through kind of what you do to get from 70 to 74 and get geared in Mythics. So, first off, Deeper Well. Probably medium to start off. If you're EV, I think you can start on hard or something. What you want to do, you want to play medium, then you play hard, then you play insane. You might have to repeat hard once or twice, and you could do insane twice. What we're doing here is a bit of leveling, and once you can do it on insane, you're going to be going a lot faster if you start going through the levels on insane than if you were going through them on hard. And it means you don't have to replay them insane. So, play Deeper Well a few times till you can do it on insane. Forges and Foundries on insane. Here you're facing an ogre, and the strategy for that ogre will change a bit depending on what character you're playing. The only ones that aren't super simple and self-explanatory are Monk. With Monk, you make an aura stack with a healing aura in there, and you basically stand there, kind of run around with him a bit, and make sure he doesn't leave your aura stack. Use your tower boost whenever you can. Huntress, you can either, if you've got a lot of damage at that point, you can put the stack right on your, what's it called? Like, right on the crystal from the side that it's going to come from. Or you can just kind of do a long line of traps that'll walk through them. Or you can do a stack somewhere else that isn't right on your crystal, and just kind of keep his aggro and keep running him through there. There are a whole lot of ways of doing it. It's not too difficult, ultimately. Might take you a couple tries if you're new to a Huntress, though. Magus Quarters, same kind of thing. Now they're air units, which means if you're a Huntress, this one's going to be hard. If you're EV, it's going to be kind of hard, a little easier. And, something to note. If you're on a Summoner, so Summoner is really, really good, like, once you're all geared in Mythics, and at that point, it's better than most other characters when they're geared in Mythics. But just know if you're playing Summoner, it's going to be a struggle through most of the campaign. And, oh well. It'll take you like a day to do, and then you've done it. So, for Magus Quarters, if you're on a Summoner, And you're probably going to be stacking archers like at the top of the staircases here. Just know that you might get enemy archer shots just going straight past and hitting the crystal. The AI with the your guys, it's like enemies will only aggro the summoner minions if your summoner minions attack the enemy first, which is kind of frustrating. It matters less and less as the game goes on, because your guys are attacking faster, stronger, but it might occasionally bite you, you know. So, that's the first 3 maps, and then you get to a chemical laboratory. And I'd say give it a try on Insane, but you're probably not going to be able to beat the boss. He has about 700,000 health. If you're an Eevee, you can probably do it. You have a decent chance of being able to do it if you're a Huntress. I can't do it yet as a monk at level 29. Which is about the level I got to after trying it 2 or 3 times. Just so you have kind of a level benchmark. But, something to know about this map, well, about boss fights in general, is if you're on a character like a monk or a huntress or to some extent an Eevee, who places towers that can't be attacked. So enemies can't attack your monk auras. They can't aggro onto your monk auras. They're gonna be aggroed onto the crystal. Well, when you get to the boss can't even attack the crystal. So it's only going to be able to attack you. But you're playing on hardcore mode, because you're not a filthy casual. Hardcore mode for everything. Just gives you more XP and lets you do bosses in this way. You put hardcore mode on, and right here on the little picture where the boss spawns, you stack either Huntress traps or Monk Aura or Eevee beams. And you stand right there too. He drops, he's definitely going to one-shot you. And then, you just have to wait. And he's not going to do anything, and the hope is that your defenses can defend everything coming in for long enough that he dies. Also, something to note, if you're an Eevee, just don't build Eevee walls for this. Only use your laser beams. They are way more than enough to get this done. Eevee is super strong in the early game. But let's say you can't do that. Like, on this monk, I tried doing that, and it didn't quite work. What do you do then? You do this. Misty Mire Insane First Wave. Now, you might not be able to do it on Insane to start off with. You can do a couple runs of Medium or Hard, and then work your way up to Insane. But this is... wow. This is... Misty Mire First Wave is going to be a place you spend quite a bit of time. And some of that's going to be great, some of it's going to be kind of annoying. But it is one of the best places you can start. So what it do? Well, it gives a lot of XP, and as we'll get into in a minute, it gives a lot of drops. Another thing to note, all those characters I listed at the start can do it. Most of them is pretty self-explanatory. When you start doing it on Nightmare First Wave, which doesn't come until like 74, it gets a little trickier with Eevee, Monk, and Huntress, because you have to get the aggro of the ogres and drag them over to wherever you want to kill them. But yeah. So, one thing to keep in mind, when you're running this, part of the key is to be fast, in part so you do more runs, and fast during the wave so you get the round timer bonus. Also, at this stage on this monk, I don't quite have the stats to kill everything in one aura. A couple of the orcs will get through. The ogre, not the ogres, yeah, the orcs. So I do 2 aura stacks, and that takes them out. Also, if you can, don't open the chests that are like just first round chests that don't respawn. Because once we do the first wave, we're going to do a big chest run that can be really lucrative. Alright, so now that's the first aura stack down there. I'm going to start the wave and just build the second one right here. Again, you're only playing through the first wave, so you don't have to deal with any ogres or any spiders or anything but basic enemies, which is nice. Keeps it pretty easy. Another thing to note about XP, I did this once before, but I didn't. I wanted to demonstrate this at kind of a lower level. You could do this with even less stats than these, pretty easily actually. Especially if you didn't have that much health. I've put a lot of health in because I was trying to beat the boss. Yeah. What else? You could, if you wanted to do kind of a different leveling route, you could just do Deeper Well a few times and then come up to this map on easy. But yeah. So this gives a lot of good XP. Right now, I'm actually level 34. I'll probably be level like 39, maybe 38 by the end of this. We'll see. As you can see though, a few 100,000 XP. And this time I will level up. Yeah, 39, so that was 5 levels for me. And a lot of points to spend. Put a lot in there. Quite a few in there, and some in here. Cool. So that just got a lot easier for me to do. And now the really important part. The chests. So a lot of the time they're going to drop Godly Gear. And you can pick it up if it's good, but there's going to be a lot of it. So I typically don't bother. It's a decent kind of DPS weapon, I guess. And really important thing, hit the Shroomites. It's not common, but they can drop pets. And for something later on, if you're on... Okay. Send a note, if you don't pick stuff up, it'll automatically sell, so you'll get tons of mana from doing this. But back to pets. For some characters, you need a DPS pet for Endless Spire's first wave, which we're going to be doing a lot of. So, a DPS pet's nice, and something you might have to farm a lot for. But like if you can get a decent dragon, it makes it so Monk and Huntress much easier time with Endless Spire's first wave. Is that one decent? Yeah. I don't know, it's not bad, but I'm not going to grab it. you don't have to be, like, you can be fairly picky about your gear here. Didn't get any pets this time. They're pretty rare, and I find, like, often I won't get any at all for a few rounds, and then I'll have, like, one round where suddenly I'm getting them. It's kind of weird. Cool. So I got, like, 200,000 mana from that, and from there, we're not able to do the second round yet. I mean, maybe we could, but not with super low stats like I have. So that's all cool. You're gonna do a lot of rounds of that, and well, after probably like 5 rounds or so, you'll probably be able to do Alchemical Laboratory. 5's kind of a guesstimate. And then you just keep on going through the campaign on insane mode. And whenever you can't do something, just go farm that some more. Now, eventually, you're going to reach the summit, beat the summit, and you're going to get to, it's called Glitterhelm. You're going to hit level 70. You might hit level 70 before it, depending on how many runs you do of that thing. Steamire. Once you hit 70, you want to go... First of all, if you don't have a decent set of godly gear, it doesn't have to be crazy. Depends a lot on your character. You want to get some godlies. You can get them from, like, Ramparts Insane or whatever. And then go and go to... God, I need to learn how to, like, actually talk. Endless Spires, that's the map. Go to Endless Spires first wave. Now, I'm gonna do a really... I don't know. I don't know if I want to... at the end, I'll walk you through kind of a quick setup. I'm only gonna say stuff because I don't have all the characters right now. A quick setup for every character to do Endless Spires first wave. Like I said, all the characters are listed in the beginning, so that's Monk, Huntress, Apprentice, Eevee, and a Summoner, and also almost definitely Squire. I've just never played Squire. I never will, so far as I know. All of them can do it without too much difficulty. So you do that a lot. And that map gives pretty bad XP. But it can drop mythicals, and it does drop mythicals. And the mythicals it drops are like low tier mythicals, but they're not bad mythicals. So you farm it a lot, and you want to get a mythical set that's good stats for just about everything, and you want one of those for every piece. I find typically 50 to 80 on all tower stats is doable. Not easy, but doable. And then, God, I'm so bad at this whole commentary thing. I'm sorry about the ums. There's another. So once you get a full set of the good mythical things, you'll also be able to get high tier godlies that'll also be able to get like 50 in each stat, but those are a lot less common. You'll probably get a few though, and they're really nice. Once you get mythical gear to the point of like you're good, you're set, you're happy, then I recommend you do either Ramparts Insane. A lot of people seem to really like Ramparts Insane. I don't love it, but if it's your thing, it's your thing. Go for it. Or what I do is Glitterhelm Insane. Even if you can't beat the map, doing like 6 or so or 5 or maybe even 4 of the waves will still give you a lot of XP and is well worth doing. Yeah, so that's what I do to 74. Also, at some point, depending on what character you're playing, you might need to wait until you're 74 and you've got mythicals, but you can start doing Misty Mire on Nightmare, which is going to be hard. I think you're going to have Djinns, you're going to have Sharkin, you're going to have Ogres. I don't know, I can't actually remember if there's an Ogre on the first. No, there isn't an Ogre on the first wave. It's going to be tough, but that can give you mythicals, and I think mythical tier pets, which, again, are just amazing. And for characters like the Monk and Huntress are pretty mandatory. I'll also just go ahead and say it. That's, from what I've experienced, kind of the end of the line for Huntress. Really, the only thing... So, Huntress and Eevee are both kind of limited in how far they can get, because they both have ways of dealing with air things, but they're unreliable, and neither of them have a consistent way of taking out Djinns, aside from DPSing. So, unless you want to run Moonbase forever, which I don't know if that's doable. It might be, and if it is, that would be kind of legit. It might be time that you have to swap in another character and stop using only one. Yeah, so that is the 1 to 74 and a little tiny toe step beyond for one character only. Beyond that point, one character only gets kind of hard. Yeah, it's not easy, especially like not combining Summoner DU and Tower DU. It's hard. Also, I hope you guys are loving this gameplay of me aimlessly walking around the tavern. Really intense. So, I've never been able to get Huntress or Eevee through what's kind of next after, what's it called? The Endless Spires and 74 and that. I've gotten them through that. I've never been able to do what's next, which is Magus Quarters Nightmare. You do that once, and then start up Magus Quarters Nightmare Hardcore, either survival or pure strategy, though eventually you want to do survival because that'll let you do mixed mode. And that'll start giving you higher tier mythics. Once you've got high tier mythics, and really once you can, then it's time to go to the Throne Room, which is the next map, and do a Nightmare setup there. I know, I've only ever seen video. I've never actually gotten that far. I know I've seen a video of Apprentice only doing Nightmare Throne Room, but it's hard. And I don't think that person showed their stats, so I don't know that's even like practical. But if it is, that's sick. And I can't remember off the top of my head where you go from there, but maybe from there, if you can, you go to Misty Mire on Nightmare Survival. But again, it'll be hard. It's all gonna be hard. It's a struggle playing with only one character. but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, but I am going to break down the setups for each character on the Endless Fire First Wave. So you don't have to watch that. You don't have to watch any of this. I mean, it's a video on YouTube. Alright, going kind of quick, and from what I remember, some of these I haven't actually played in like a year or so, but Apprentice, you start off with one Deadly Striker tower by each of the crystals, aiming towards kind of that entrance, and the hope is that those take out the Sharkin. There's a chance you need an App Guardian to help with that, like buff the tower. Maybe not, depending on your stats. Use that to deal with the Sharkin, and I think depending on your attack speed, that'll also deal with most of the other stuff. And then once you get to the Ogre, you're going to, if it's fire immune, you place it on a wall. It'll like two-shot it. And then you kind of keep it in that central area between all of the crystals, and you put down fire towers, and it'll just stay aggroed to the fire towers, and you keep making new ones, and you'll have tons of mana from the Sharkin, and it'll die pretty quick. You can do that without grabbing the chest at the top that's a first round chest, which means you can for one do it faster and get another chest worth of loot. Next, Squire, never played. Probably just spam harpoons or something. I think there's videos on the Squire. Huntress is the slowest. For Huntress, you put a trap stack at each of the three entrances where the Sharkin come. Your trap stack with the gas trap. Actually, I think I haven't done Huntress in a few years, but I think you put it by the crystals, kind of. I don't know. You'd have to play around with it a little. But Sharkin run into that, and they'll die pretty quick between the fire and the gas. You might have some issues if they're immune to elements, so you might actually have to put the stack like on the crystal, so that they'll stand still and attack the crystal. Also, you want to stack it so that gas is the last trap that gets activated, and they stand there in the proximity and the fire trap, getting wrecked. And then for the Ogre on Huntress, it's a little tough. I don't really have a good way. What I used to do was I'd bring the Ogre down to like that front section with like the really long bridge. Like, what's a good way of describing it? If you're on the if you're where you spawn and you run towards the like Defender's Forge, and you just keep going, you drop down, and down there's a really big loop you can run, and I would always put lightning traps all around there with all the extra mana I had, run them through them, but unfortunately that was so slow that it meant he would always like die from, I think it's a 5-minute timer before I could actually like finish him. So it took a really long time, but it worked, and you could do it. And as you got better stats, it would be faster to kill the Ogre. Monk. So Monk's another one that isn't super easy. You put one or a stack of Ensnare Lightning and Strength Drain on each of the entrances, and then you need a DPS pet, and you hero boost your DPS pet, and you can take out the Sharkin in a few seconds. It works pretty well. Yeah. Do that, and it'll be good. And then for the Ogre, you put an aura stack down somewhere with Shrink Strain and Health, and Lightning, maybe Ensnare. Maybe you upgrade your Strength Drain a bit, so that he doesn't one-shot you. And then you pretty much run around in there, shooting him with your ranged attack, and trying to let your pet DPS him while he's in the Lightning Aura. It's pretty slow and risky and really annoying when you die, but it works. Summoner is the fastest and easiest. I think it's 2 or 3 archers at each entrance to start, and then once they deal with the Sharkin, you summon a spider and then a bunch of archers where the ogre comes, and you might have to manually target the spider onto the ogre so that he webs it and takes double damage. But you spam archers and it's super fast and super easy. Really strong. You also can move all of the archers to where the ogre is. And now we have Eevee. Eevee's another kind of slow one. Eevee took me a while to figure out. So, with Eevee, I found, I can't remember for sure, but I think you put a wall down at each entrance. A proton beam, one that deals continuous damage. And then I found I had to put down a stun beam right over the path that the Sharkin takes. So I think it was like a proton beam and a shock beam over the path that the Sharkin takes, and then another one parallel to your barrier that will deal with everything else. And then that enough was alone to deal with the Sharkin, but the ogre, I think I just kind of stacked a ton of protein beams and a buff beam and a big wall, and I made the wall so that I could stand pretty far away from where the ogre was and he would get attacked by it. And yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see how long this video is going. We're at half an hour. That's pretty long. But cool. So that's 1 through 74, and getting geared on Mythics with one character only. I don't know if I'm actually going to upload this, but yeah. And maybe if more than 6 people watch this or something, when I get there, I'll make another video on past 74. And we might have to kind of bend the rules of one character on, maybe a monk for towers and a monk for DPS. I kind of expect to need to do that, but we'll see. We'll have fun with that. Yeah. Alright. See you guys. My name's Meffins. Take care.